Welcome to the writing workshop. This is a presentation over understanding paragraph structure. At this point in our academic careers, we clearly know what a paragraph is, or at least we think we do. We make up 5 to 7 sentences and indent the first line, and we call it a paragraph. However, when we truly consider the purpose of a paragraph, we need to reconsider what it is that we think that we know. So let's review what a paragraph is not. A paragraph is not just a few sentences grouped together without a purpose or a reason. A paragraph is not a series of words without dependent and independent clauses. A paragraph is not a series of words without clear punctuation. A paragraph does not include facts that are stated without commentary or discussion. A paragraph is not random thoughts grouped together without a purpose. And a paragraph is not opinions expressed without evidence. A paragraph is made up of sentences grouped together for a reason, usually to present and support a single main idea. Whenever you write a paragraph, you need to distinguish what your reason for writing that paragraph is. When you write, you are communicating ideas to someone. So when you write in a paragraph, your sentences are grouped together because you have a reason to be writing them. You are writing for a clear purpose. Your audience needs to know the information that you are giving them. Each time you write a paragraph, it is accomplishing a purpose of its own. The purpose of a paragraph could be individual, and you are answering a detailed question with one single paragraph, or you could be composing an essay, and each paragraph serves a purpose, but each paragraph also works together to develop a whole idea, each one a chain that connects. Also, when you write paragraphs to compose an essay, you are creating a structure to organize your thoughts. Each paragraph serving a purpose to make your point of view and your argument clear and understandable. So as we move forward this year, be purposeful in your writing. Let each paragraph accomplish its purpose and write with reason. There are several different types of paragraphs you can write, especially within one essay, but we are going to begin our focus on a body paragraph. Whenever you write a paragraph, most paragraphs emphasize one main idea. These paragraphs are typically called a body paragraph and have 3 major parts: a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding or a clincher sentence. A topic sentence is a statement of the paragraph's main idea. So, in that first topic sentence, you are telling the reader what that paragraph is about. Supporting sentences come after the topic sentence. Supporting sentences elaborate on and support the topic sentence. This includes your evidence and commentary. And commentary is what you do when you discuss an idea. You state your evidence and then you discuss why that evidence is relevant and important. And your concluding sentence concludes the paragraph, often summarizing or restating the main idea or topic sentence. So, what is the main idea? The main idea is the point of the paragraph, and it is the most important thought about the topic. The sentences within the paragraph make the main idea clear. If you are writing a longer piece of writing, the surrounding paragraphs help you understand the main idea of the piece of writing. Each body paragraph will have a main idea or topic that connect, each working together to make the main idea of the entire piece clear. In the following slide, see if you can determine what the main idea of the paragraph is. Those of us who live in the city should be grateful to our language because the words that have to do with our city are usually flattering. We city dwellers, at least in ancient days, were supposed to be more civil in our manners and more civilized in our ways than others, for both of these words, civil and civilized, are the eventual children of the later term civis, which meant one who lives in a city. All city folks, you see, were regarded as automatically cultured and well housebroken. And from ancient Latin, we have borrowed the word urbs, which also means city, and we used it to create the word urbane, which describes the smooth manners that were presumed to be characteristic of metropolitan society. The Greek parts of the word metropolitan are metro, mother, and polis, city. So a metropolis is the mother city or the chief or capital city of a country, and he who lives in a metropolis is supposed to inherit the sophisticated ideas and manners that go with such a center. And from the Greek polis, city, we inherited our word politic. If you are a politic, you are expedient, shrewd, discreet, and artful in your address and your procedure, which sounds dangerously like a city slicker. Take a moment, reread the paragraph if you need to, and determine what the main idea is. What is the main idea? The main idea of Funk's paragraph is stated in the first sentence, the topic sentence. Those of us who live in the city should be grateful to our language because the words that have to do with the city are usually flattering. All the other sentences give more specific information to support that idea. They give examples of what the writer calls flattering words that have to do with the city. As you read, look at the topic sentence, usually the first sentence of a paragraph, and it should help you determine what the main idea is. As you begin to write and you are trying to figure out how to start a paragraph, think about what you are writing, what your main idea is, and describe that in your topic sentence. It lets the reader know what the main idea is and what your reason for writing the paragraph is. As stated previously, you will state the main idea of your paragraph in your topic sentence, which is a single sentence. The topic sentence is usually placed within the first or second sentence of your paragraph. The topic sentence can be placed anywhere in the paragraph and still function correctly, but as you begin to write, practice placing it at the beginning. The topic sentence at the beginning of a paragraph helps the reader know what to expect in the rest of the paragraph. So, your body paragraph structure. Use the following structure when you construct a paragraph. Begin with the topic sentence. The middle of the paragraph includes your support, and end your paragraph with your concluding statement. So you begin with your topic sentence. In the middle, you have your support, and then end with the concluding sentence. Supporting sentences allow you to elaborate. The topic sentence of a paragraph states a general idea. To make the idea clear and interesting to the reader, you have to elaborate on it or develop it in greater detail. After the topic sentence, other sentences in the paragraph give specific details or information to support the main idea of the paragraph. Depending on the subject you are writing about, you might support your main idea using the following techniques to elaborate: sensory details, facts or statistics, and examples. Sensory details as support. Sensory details are precise bits of information that you collect using any of your 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. For example, you can include a detail about the color of something, how it sounds when it moves, or what it feels like when you touch it. In the following paragraph, pay attention to the sensory details that are highlighted and how it elaborates on the main idea. In the summer, my mother got up just after sunrise so that when she called Matthew and me for breakfast, the house was filled with sounds and smells of her industrious morning. Odors of frying scrapple or codfish cakes drifted up the back stairs, mingling sometimes with the sharp scent of mustard greens she was cooking for dinner that night. Up the laundry chute from the cellar floated whiffs of steamy air and the churning sound of the washing machine. From the dining room, where she liked to sit ironing and chatting on the telephone, came the fragrance of hot, clean clothes, and the sound of her voice, cheerful, resonant, reverberating, a little weirdly through the high-ceilinged rooms, as if she were sitting happily at the bottom of a well. If you look at the paragraph and see what's highlighted, you'll notice that there's 2 types of sensory details highlighted. You have odors or smells, and then you have sounds highlighted. Each of these gives the reader a more distinct idea of what the author is talking about. It's elaborating on what the main idea is. So using sensory details is a great way to provide that extra bit of information that helps the author come to a greater understanding. Facts and statistics as support. Another way to support a main idea with specific information is to use facts or statistics. A fact is a statement that can be proven true, such as the statement, "At the end of the Civil War, General Lee surrendered to General Grant in the front parlor of the Wilmer McLean House." A statistic is a fact that involves numbers. For example, during the Civil War, the South lost about 260,000 soldiers, and the North lost about 360,000. If you use a fact or statistic to support your main idea, you must continue to elaborate the importance of the fact or statistic. You can't just list a fact or statistic without telling the reader why it's important and how it helps support the main idea. So, how does it support the main idea? You always need to add commentary to the support to discuss why it is relevant and important. Additionally, if you state a fact or a statistic that is not common knowledge, such as the sky is blue, you must cite a source that supports your fact to show that you are a credible and reliable author. In other words, you need to have a source, like an article, that demonstrates that your fact or statistic is true. You can easily do this by quoting an article and then citing the article to give proper credit, which I will teach you how to do. Often when we consider the types of insects and bugs we see or avoid, we assume those bugs have been scientifically identified and that we rarely encounter a new species of bugs or insects. However, a college student has recently made headlines for discovering a new species of beetles. According to NPR, college student Rachel Smith discovered 18 new species of a beetle. That means that the stupendous, ever-growing list of beetle species has just gotten a little longer. About 400,000 beetle species are known to science. That's around a quarter of all known animals. Evidently, there is an ever-growing number of insects that have yet to be discovered, and it seems like most of those are likely to be beetles. Although we assume that everything in existence has been identified scientifically, there is still a large amount that we have yet to discover, which is both hopeful and terrifying. This paragraph, along with this quote and citation, is an example of how you provide evidence of a fact. So the fact is that we have encountered a new species of bugs or insects. And college student Rachel Smith has discovered 18 new species. That is the fact. So the quote provides support of that fact. And then you can use examples as support. You can also use one or more examples to support a main idea. Examples are specific instances or illustrations of a general idea. A cow is an example of an animal. Your test score of 67 is an example of what can happen if you do not study. The line, "The fog comes on little cat feet" from Carl Sandburg's poem Fog is an example of personification. The following paragraph uses specific examples of bird behavior to show you how bathing varies among birds. Bathing behavior varies from species to species. Many birds stand in shallow water and through a complex series of movements, rolling their head and body and fluttering their wings, set water trapped in the featherless areas next to their body, and then press the water out through their feathers. Some aerial birds, like swallows, may dive into water and immediately fly up. Still others may jump into water and be briefly submerged before getting out. Some birds bathe in rain or drizzle in dew on grass or among wet leaves. To take time to watch bathing behavior, it is fascinating. So you will see what is highlighted is an example of how bathing behavior varies from species to species. And then concluding sentences. You should end paragraphs, especially long ones, with a sentence that restates or emphasizes the paragraph's topic, sentence, or main idea. This concluding sentence is sometimes called the clincher sentence. For this class, we will refer to it as the concluding sentence. It pulls all of the details together and signals that the end of the paragraph has come, often using transition words to signify the conclusion. Here's an example of a paragraph using a concluding sentence. Coming into New Jersey to play the Nets, the Bulls have won 5 games and lost only 2 since Jordan's return. Any doubts anyone might have had about his potential to reclaim his standing as the best player in basketball have been effectively removed 3 days after he hit the winning shot in Atlanta. When the Bulls traveled to New York to play the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, Jordan's performance that night, 55 points, 21 for 37 shooting from the field, 10 of 11 free throws, all of this in only 38 minutes on the court, could not have taken place in a better setting for him. The New York and national media were on hand in force. It could not have come at a better time. The game was nationally telecast to an audience that had been reading the stories about Jordan's struggles, had been seeing the TV coverage of his missed shots and missteps. Since that night, he had scored 23 points in a win over the Boston Celtics, then only 12 points on a 5 for 19 shooting against the Philadelphia 76ers. But the evening in New York had defined the possibilities inherent in this comeback. Now the world was clamoring to watch every shot he took, and tickets for bull games, always extremely difficult to get, were just about impossible to buy at any price. No one wanted to miss the next night when Jordan might explode. The last sentence that's highlighted is your concluding sentence, and it just re-emphasizes the point of how popular watching Jordan was. And then practice. These components of a body paragraph will be crucial for you to put into practice as we write throughout the year. Applying this structure of a paragraph will help you to write clearly, ensuring that your audience can understand what you're trying to say through your use of including a main idea that is supported. So as we go forward, writing journal entries and forming essays, keep in mind how to properly form a body paragraph.